Happy Friday! We're so excited that it's Friday. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's a 3-day weekend. Are you guys excited for that? You're going to close it out in the best way that I could ask you to do, which is with us. Thank you for your contribution to our continued existence. I'm Roth Cornet. That's Dan Murrell.
Hi.
Hi. Danielle Radford.
Hello.
I love you.
I love you.
You're the best.
You're the best. You guys.
You
I
guys.
get spoiled every time I come visit now.
Spencer's here.
SJU.
SJU. You're also amazing.
Thank you, Roth.
Do you guys think Spencer looks like a Simpsons character in a really great way? Comment below. Today we're going to talk about Fox movies. Move the slate around a little bit, including largely for the X-Men, some fan questions, and we've got a great story about a lawsuit. Doesn't that sound fun? Let's start with Fox.
Woo, Friday!
Shifting the X-Men around. So the release, and I want us to be thinking about a couple of things as we think about this release slate. One, why Murdoch sold, and two, if Disney is already getting involved and sort of shifting things around for them. I don't know, but here's what's moved. Deadpool 2, New Mutants, and Gambit have all moved. Deadpool 2 is being pushed up 2 weeks from June 1st to May 18th. Now, it is in competition with Slender Man, but more importantly, Solo, a Star Wars story. So question mark, is it possible, we haven't seen anything from that so far,
Nothing.
Is it possible that Solo is actually going to move and that Disney and Fox are talking to each other and that they're moving Deadpool to take over that slot?
Quite possible.
Quite possible.
I mean, there's nothing except like the, occasional like Instagram story or something that's coming out of Solo.
I haven't even seen that. Have you?
Just people like on Twitter, Ron Howard will be like, "Hey, everything's fine. Look over here."
Ron Howard's starting to look like Slender Man. I think that he's under a lot of pressure. I saw him out at the Golden Globes. It's like, wow, that's a guy who's in the middle of a crazy production right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, it's got to suck for him right now. Slender Man is a very terrifying documentary, if you want to watch that on HBO, and a weird internet thing that you probably knew about way before I did. The New Mutants, Josh Boone's horror, is moving as well. This is starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Maisie Williams. It's jumping from April 13th to February 22nd.
Wow.
Not backwards.
Not backwards.
Forwards.
Forwards.
That's the big headline for me.
Yeah.
The Deadpool thing, I'm like, it's one of those things, sometimes like when Captain America and Batman v Superman, they just scheduled them on the same date. And someone's like, does someone know something we don't know? And then the movie moved. That's how I feel about Deadpool, is like, one, either they don't want to contend with week 2 of Solo, so they're like, okay, we'll move up to before it. Or somebody talked to somebody knows something, and they heard a rumor that maybe a big movie might be departing that weekend after. We'll see about that. But New Mutants is what, because the excuse they gave doesn't gel for me.
It doesn't
as to
hold up.
why they're moving. Because they said, what did they say? They said they were moving it so that Deadpool and New Mutants would not be in theaters.
Yeah, basically they said they didn't want to like clump a bunch of X-Men movies all together, so they moved New Mutants to February 22nd, 2019. I don't know if that means that they're...
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That problem was there from the beginning. If
Right.
they didn't want that, then they would not have scheduled those 2 movies to open on those dates and left those dates there for months. Like, that's not like, oh my God, they're both X-Men movies. I just realized that. We've got to move one of them. And they didn't move it 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or 6 weeks. 10 months, that is, we got to go reshoot half the movie.
Yep,
time.
that's exactly what that is.
We need to retool this thing. We've got to figure out something that's wrong. We don't want to waste this investment. We need to figure something out.
And or question mark, it is this is what I'm speculating on, that executives at Disney are now starting to really look at the slate and really look at the films and going, oh no, that's not going to be a Disney film. You're going to go back and redo some things. A, and two, what we need to look at is where the Disney Marvel movies and Star Wars movies are landing within the slates, because they may be also not wanting to compete amongst itself now that it is going to be, if things go through, one entity. That's kind of one of the things that I was wondering about that. Gambit, which, as we know, lost Gore Verbinski as a director, has been moved from February 14th, 2019, which is now around the time that the New Mutants will be, to June 7th, 2020. never. It's 2019, but that's just like, I agree. Is this really gonna? This Channing.
I believe them when cameras show up.
Let's address Channing. Channing, you're
Man.
amazing.
Yeah.
You can dance. You can act. You're funny. You're so much more than anybody thought you were going to be when you did Step Up. You're a real thing in the world. You make interesting choices. I got to say that the first Magic Mike remains the Too Late Blacktop of male stripper movies. That's amazing. I think you need to let Gambit go and heal, Channing. I think the healing must begin.
Gambit is Hollywood's boyfriend that lives in Canada.
Yeah.
You hear about it, but there's no tangible proof that it has ever or will ever exist. And why even just don't give it a date. It's a formality at this point. I guess you're just trying to stake out something so that no one else will put a movie there. But like, just come on. I mean,
according
we've been talking
to
about this movie for like 5
5
years.
He was in that Vanity Fair portrait looking like the new X-Men or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like crazy Uncle Dan Aykroyd got for a little while when he kept talking about next Ghostbusters, and eventually you were like, okay, Uncle Dan. But apparently Hollywood Reporter says studio insiders believe that the project will have heavy comedic tone revolving around a heist, and it will do better as the summer Marvel movie. They say it still exists.
I mean, it is a heist movie. That is definitely a way that you could get into making people understand Gambit. For it to be an X-Men property, his backstory is stupid. Like, it's the Assassins, Guild and the Thieves Guild, like all that stuff is interesting, but there is just so much X-Men, Marvel, mutant minutia that's in there, and I know that everyone's going to want to see all of it, and I absolutely don't.
Why do I want to see the X-Men Marvel movie minutia
Marvel
television
movie
show?
minutia,
Though.
aka
I
ScreenJunkies
want to see
News.
that
Yes.
television show. Yeah, you just described what we do for a living a little bit.
Yeah, it's just at this point, why? Just why? I mean,
He wants a
Danielle,
superhero
I agreed
franchise.
with you yesterday. Is like, I don't think Gambit's that interesting of a character. I don't. If there was demand for him, it is mainly from audiences of the '90s cartoon series, which are rapidly and increasingly aging out of the demo at an even more exponential rate than when they dreamed this up.
And they're not going to give us him in Rogue. What's it going to be, Belladonna? Okay.
He should just say screw it and do Shazam opposite The Rock. I think that's two
I
beefcakes
agree.
going at it. That
Yeah,
I'd watch.
I like that idea. That's fun. It's fun, although
Have to kick out Zachary Levi.
we'd have to kill Zach.
That's fine.
You willing to do murder for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's a MFK situation, Zach Levy gets the.
I think that's the real test of commitment. If you're willing to do the murder, then that should happen in Hollywood. I will also say that if we look at the slate, other things on the slate, like Battle Angel, for example, we start to maybe get a sense of why this sale went through. Like,
Is that
there's
the
just
Big Eyes one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Alita Battle Angel. There's just like not a lot there, and it looks like what is there in terms of the X-Men is perhaps very problematic, other
New
than
Mutants
Deadpool.
is the one that really worries me, because looking at this is a movie that had a date, that had a trailer, and just even looking at the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, that's a really interesting, cool new look at
Our own
Mutants.
Joe
So
Starr
it's-
did a set visit.
Joe Starr went and did a set visit, and it's like that. I hope maybe they're like marketing geniuses and they're like pushing it for a year is a brilliant move, but that's not.
Yeah.
When is that a good sign?
My fear is
10
that they
months.
are wavering from it's going to be a mutant horror movie thing. That is my biggest fear, is that someone saw that and was like, why isn't it just Kid X-Men?
Yeah.
Somebody do the math on me. When is the actual date that if it's cleared, the deal goes through? It was going to take about 18 months,
18
right?
months, so it would be from December, so it would be in about June of 2019.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm just thinking about that, like in terms of how the conversations may already be happening.
Just in time for Gambit to open.
Yes. 2019 never. Worldview Entertainment is suing CAA. That's a headline that I know you find very exciting, but it's actually kind of interesting. Hollywood Reporter once again reports that CAA is being sued by Worldview Entertainment for allegedly, quote, breaching a first look deal and treating the financier as a last resort to fund projects that others had passed on. So in other words, CAA, I'm just going to try and break this down as best I can. I'm going to read the complaint. quote, relying on CAA's promises, expertise, and advice between 2010 and 2015, plaintiffs invested more than $55 million in more than 20 different film projects that were suggested by CAA. The projects were attached to well-known CAA clients, but contrary to CAA's representations, they were not films that other financiers were willing to fund. And a lot of them were ultimately losers at the box office. They include The Green Inferno, Wish I Was Here, and Rules Don't Apply. So here's the thing, is that we're going to get to CAA has responded and says CAA denies Worldview's spurious allegations and will defend itself vigorously in court. This is from lawyer Jerry Bernstein, who I just want to shout out to for your wordplay. That was impressive word use. But this is what we're going to say. Okay, so breaking it down. So Worldview is a financier, and they are willing to give money to get films made. CAA is the agency, and a lot of times at agencies, they put films together in packages that benefit them because they put together the directors that they represent with the actors they represent and the producers and blah, blah, blah. So they're just making money. And if they're in this relationship as well with the financier, they're like, oh yeah, we're putting this package together. You definitely put money on this movie that has my talent in it because it's going to be a great movie. Trust us. Meanwhile, they're making money either way, right? Because when the financier is spending the money on the movie and the actor and the talent and all their other talent, they're getting their 10% of that, right? So what the financier is saying is, you gave us bad advice because you were going to get money either way. And when we lost it, it was no skin off your back, and they ended up losing a lot of money.
Well, what they're saying to me, if I'm reading it correctly, isn't so much that, like, you didn't tell us that you would make money either way, but you didn't tell us that everyone else passed, and you're giving us the dregs of the bottom of the barrel.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm explaining just how that generally works, but here they're saying, like, you allegedly were there to give us good advice about what movies we should spend our money on.
You said you'd give us the pick of the litter, and you gave us the runts.
Exactly, and you gave us the things that everybody else passed on, but you still
wanted...
I want
Buffo B.O. Pronto.
Yeah, exactly. You still wanted this thing to go through because it had your talent attached. So you gave us the runts in order to get it made, and you didn't care that it was probably everyone else had passed and it was probably a bad bet, right?
This may be unspeakably naive here, but just look at the three movies that were cited. The Green Inferno, okay, Eli Roth's 15th torture porn movie that's no mass market appeal, especially not that one. That was way more intense than just about any other. It's the cannibal one that's never going to make $100 million. You invested in that one, fine. Wish I Was Here. Zach Braff's crowdfunding movie. He was so... you can't say that you didn't know that people didn't want to make this movie if Zach Braff had to go to the people to get money for this movie. Obviously, no one wanted to fund it. He said in his thing for Kickstarter, no one wants to fund this. And then Rules Don't Apply, the Warren Beatty movie that took him 25 years to make. One? And yeah, it was that one. Plus, that was a movie that had award show buzz. That was a movie that had a great cast. That was a movie that just didn't turn out good, but it was one that did have... I remember when that movie came out. That was one that said, like, ooh, this could be one of the prestige pictures in the movie. It didn't work out. It sounds to me like they made really shitty decisions.
And now
CAA did their job, which is to sell their clients, the movies that their clients are doing to financiers, and they're like, we made some bad bets and it's your fault. It just sounds weird. Like, surprise, the Hollywood talent agency's kind of skeezy. Oh my God! What?
They're maybe disingenuous to make something appear more like successful and impressive than it is. That an agent doing that?
I took that Hollywood talent agent's word and he exaggerated how good these movies were going to be, and now I'm going to sue them. Like, come on, really?
Well, it's clearly a desperate move, and I agree with you. It's like you made the decision to place these bets, and whether I don't know, and maybe you guys know, I don't know what CAA's obligations are or not to tell them that other financiers had passed on it. Like, if they actually have any obligation to do that.
If they had a contractual obligation, yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Now, it would be interesting. I'm just like picturing them being like, oh yeah, everyone wants this, but we'll let you guys have it first.
Yeah, like if they played...
And if that's I could see there being a little bit of like, no one wanted this. And then it's like the 3-card Monty of like, who else wants it? Who else wants it? Who else wants it? So we'll see. That was almost what I was reading into that was CAA being like, oh no, everyone wants in on this, but we're giving it to you because you're our best friend.
It's like suing a used car dealer for getting a
Yeah.
terrible deal on a car. It's like, you ripped me off. It's like, yeah, I'm a used car dealer. Of course I ripped you off. That's what I do.
Check the Carfax.
Exactly.
Where do you land on this? Team CAA?
Well, I'm just curious what worldviews, where the money is coming from in worldview. And like, I feel like a lot of people get into financing films just like as a lark. But then some people, like maybe from the tech side of the world or maybe like investment banking, like they want to think of it as like safe bets, and they're so ripe for the plucking. And so you can't treat film financing as anything more than vanity, because it's like a terrible business to be in, to just throw money at financing independent films or non-franchise movies. So I'm curious, like what sort of like, I don't know, like Dubai art forgery cabal is behind worldview, and to see just how naive they are, because I have a scam I'd love to run on them.
It's all
Yeah,
Tommy
great.
Wiseau.
It's all
Yeah.
Tommy.
It's all Tommy Wiseau.
Right?
Ah,
It probably-
surprise. Why did I not make money on the Cannibal movie, Lisa? Warren Beatty, I trusted you. You lied to me.
So Films, TSW production.
I don't know. Maybe cannibal. It's just idea. It's just idea. I don't know. I'm kind of Team CAA on this one too. It's like you knew what you're. It is a terrible business to get in. Let's all, when we come back next week, say if we had $50 million, what business we would actually invest in.
Yeah. And there's some interesting stories, and if someone is willing to do the research in the shadiness of these film financing companies, of like look into the money behind Wolf of Wall Street. There's some really good articles about it, which is kind of echoing the movie itself, of just like it was like they were robbing the Indonesian government of like billions in development money to then like finance their personal projects, including Wolf of Wall Street. So maybe next week on SJU.
Yeah, next week on SJU, film financing and what we would do with $50 million. Which will
Yogurtlands.
end up being like Yogurtlands.
Yeah, just buy a bunch of Yogurtlands.
That's probably like
a
the
little late
best
for Yogurtland.
Yeah, you need the next franchise.
I need the next yogurt thing.
Yeah.
You missed the Poke Wave too.
I know.
Restaurants are probably the second worst.
The second
business.
worst behind movies. Yeah,
Behind
actually.
movies
Except
to get
yogurt,
into.
man. Everybody
That's
loves a
like-
yogurt.
Wait, okay, let's go in order. Number one worst. Anything digital. Hey guys! 2, movies and restaurants, right?
and
Yeah,
restaurants,
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's think out. Let's
3
think
tanning
better.
salons.
The tanning salons.
It's an idea whose time has passed.
We'll talk about that. That might be interesting. I think that how films get financed, we will make it interesting. How about that?
There you go.
But I know that there's like in Vietnam, the government, at least this was true a number of years ago, would give money for films, but they would give more money the more aesthetic value they had. Imagine that
Which you can
world.
measure in this handy device
Yes.
I've invented.
$50 million
Grind
to
up a
spend.
print of the film and put it in here, and I'll spin the centrifuge. and then
200% aesthetic value.
Yeah.
Money, 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 money. Yeah, how do you measure that? Although I think that's cool. I'm spinning, guys. Happy Friday. We have fan questions. Benjamin MC asks, no questions, just a request, and this is a good request, for signal boost to the GoFundMe for Amy Awesome, if you could be so kind. Thank you, Benjamin. So Amy Awesome, who is great, as her name implies. She is on Twitter. She has a GoFundMe account right now for some medical expenses, and she needs some help. She is a great supporter of ScreenJunkies, the fandom, us, everything. She has done work for ScreenJunkies in the past. She is a really wonderful human, and if you can, go and support that, even with whatever little bit that you have to support it, and if not, just spread the word and give it a little boost in terms of sharing it on your social media. Whatever you can do, I'm sure Amy would appreciate, and we appreciate on her behalf. So thank you so much, Benjamin, for writing that in. A Nerding Rhinoceros says, if you could cast Tommy Wiseau as any Avenger or JLA member, who would it be and why? Plus, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's got to be Guy Gardner, right?
I was thinking Martian Manhunter.
Ooh.
Tommy Wiseau is himself.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
Yeah, Vision wouldn't be bad.
I don't like fire, but I love Oreos.
I could see him taking over for Robert Downey Jr. in Phase 4.
That would be the best Phase 4 starter ever.
Yeah.
Although, you guys know what I'm going to say.
No.
like he should play his real identity, who has actually fought Batman, and that is Dracula.
That's true.
Yeah. There you go. End of story. Rob Turner, 2 questions. 1, have you ever walked out of a film, and if so, why? And 2, ever considered a trip to the UK, and what would your conditions be? I'm going to answer 2 first. Yes, to the UK. Conditions are that you bring us there.
Okay.
We'll come.
I demand an audience with the Queen.
Yeah,
That's it.
I've been to the UK twice, once voluntarily and once as part of
By
work.
force.
And they're both lovely times. I've only been to London. I'd love to see, Edinburgh, the Wales, the rest of it.
I've been to London a number of times, luckily, fortunately for work, and then once as a kid. But I've been to London, Scotland, Ireland, and it's glorious, and I would love to come back. So thank you. We'll be expecting our plane tickets.
Oh, and also I walked out of Ladybugs, the Rodney Dangerfield cross-dressing.
Really? Yeah. I loved that movie when I was
right?
a kid.
I think my mom was just bored and uninterested, and I wasn't. I must have been distracted and squirming around, so out we went.
You were taken out of
Yeah, but I think that was the... Oh, and I walked out of the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre just because it was just gross. I wasn't in the mood.
I've never been to the UK, but I am actually planning a trip hopefully next year. So we'll see. I've never walked out of a movie. I almost walked out of Austin Powers 3, but the guy I was dating at the time was having the best time. And I know it was a red
Could have
flag
been 2
now.
for 1 right there.
Right? Just left it all behind.
Yeah. Burn it down.
Like in my way. It was so once I got to like one of the bathroom scenes, or like the 4th time someone made a joke about eating a baby, I was done.
There were 4 baby Wait,
at least.
How quickly did you guys break up after that?
Not quick enough, girl. I mean, look, I was V young. We all make mistakes.
I've legit been tempted to walk out of the last 2 Transformers movies. And I've sat through some bad movies, but there's a point with the last 2 where I just hit overload, and I'm just like, if they don't care, I don't care. But I stayed because it was part of my, as Spencer said, with London is part of my job. Although I love London and spent 6 weeks there studying abroad, so I'd love to go back. But I remember being, as a very small child, I remember going, I think one of my friend's parents took us to see Fantasia. And that we were too young for it to hold our interest, and I remember we left. I was taken out of it because I think it was a little too. We couldn't hang. I've never like walked out of a movie though. That's like I can't take this. I'm a little too frugal. To walk out. So
I'm going to echo that. I've never been willing to waste the money on walking out. Like I'd really have to be like bleeding out of my eyeballs, I think. But I have. In the past, I was very tempted. Like I was so angry at this movie, and I was very tempted to stop it, and I just hate watched it, which was Knight of Cups, Terrence Malick's movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'll have things to say on that at another time because I love a lot of Terrence Malick, but that movie makes me so mad. It's terrible.
I also got physically ill in the middle of Ghostbusters 2 when I was a kid. I remember that. I went to go to the bathroom and I just went.
That's not walking out. That's
completely
good sick.
lost my. I had to go back and see it.
I got physically ill during the 3D. I went a couple years ago to go see Hobbit, the last Hobbit in 3D, and I had to leave.
Yeah.
It made me sick.
Wow.
Like all the dragon stuff and normally I'm really good about that. You just do the glasses over glasses.
Yeah.
But for some reason it made me really, really ill. So I had to like wait outside while all my friends were like there, and I just had sushi. It was just a bad scene.
Oh, that's a bad scene. Yeah. I would have walked out of The Hobbit, but not because it was making me ill due to any visual effects. It was just like, that was like, God, I had to pee. I was so mad. I remember in the last one, I went to a screening of it and for whatever, review or whatever, and I had to pee and I kept thinking it was ending. So I was like, all right, I'll just wait. I'll just wait. I'm like, if I fucking die because I didn't pee because the fucking Hobbit had 22 fucking endings, I will personally come back and haunt you, is how I felt.
Coming in hot.
But I remember there was a period of time when I was younger when I tried to like get my mother into like indie films, and I put on this we weren't in a theater, but I put on this very dry independent film about like Brooklyn Russian gangsters or something, and she was miserable, and I could just feel her misery sucking the air out of us. And so about halfway through the movie, I just looked at her and I was like, do you want to watch Face Off? And she goes,
Yeah. Oh.
So that's what we did.
The answer is always yes.
yeah.
to
Like
that question.
that deleted scene from Almost Famous where he makes her listen to Stairway to Heaven in
Yeah.
its entirety.
Yeah.
So good deleted scene.
Yeah, couldn't use it because they couldn't get the rights.
Right.
God, we just
The
used
director's cut of Almost Famous is one of my favorite movies.
Yes, Untitled,
Untitled.
as it is called.
It's really good.
I like that a lot.
You are home. Anyway,
If I just used all my F-bombs on The Hobbit, then...
You did.
Sorry,
You did.
guys.
You're out.
All right. Rob Turner. Oh, no, I did that. Patrick, if you could eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, meaning erase any film from 2017 from your mind, what would it be?
Emoji Movie? It's pretty, Emoji Movie.
Don't you love how you hate it, though? I mean, you hate it pretty...
But I hate it less for its terribleness, but more for its aggressive blandness. It's like aggressively nothing. And I like bad movies. I like really bad movies or really unpleasant movies. But the Emoji Movie was just so by committee and so... It was so much. It had so much on screen that was doing and saying so little that's what really gets my goat. My goat was God.
Oh, God.
got goat. I don't know. It was there's Emoji Movie is one of them, but that's already like just white noise in my brain. Every
Sure.
time I think of it, it's just just like really soothing, like snow on old TVs when you couldn't get a channel. I really, really didn't like Book of Henry. Like I wasn't making that up yesterday. I really did not.
I mean...
Book of Henry was not.
I got yelled at about this.
Really?
Yes.
Oh no.
I did.
Well, between you and Dan, like I'm sold on this movie. I really want to see it just to experience it for myself. How
something.
insane it is.
I would go the other way with it. I would probably say Baby Driver because I thought that movie was like a theme park ride, and you can't ever ride it again for the first time. So I would almost, erase that one to kind of like, it's like riding the roller coaster again for the first time. So I'd say that just so I could see it again because it's like, I thought it was a really fun. It's like being shot out of a cannon, and you never get that second time. It's because you know what's coming. So I might say that just because I'd like to see that film again for the first time.
It is really. I didn't like Jamie Foxx in it as much as I was hoping I
Fair
would have. So if I could just erase the Jamie Foxxiness of it.
There's
then
also
replace,
another thing I'd like to
like
erase
Kevin
from the movie.
Spacey and Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
Yes. Also.
Yeah.
Also
Can
that
we
one.
reshoot Kevin
How
Spacey scenes with
advanced
Christopher Plummer?
has the technology become since Eternal Sunshine is the question that we're asking. Like, can we target things? I would take out chips, for sure.
Chips is pretty bad.
Why is that in my brain pan? I don't even know. Meg
Oh, fist
Embers.
My bedpan.
It might be fist fight. You know what? I take it back. Fist fight
Chips
wasn't
is
even
worse
worth
than fist fight.
But fist fight. Oh,
Are they
I
worse
couldn't-
than Rough Night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rough Night was. I was kind of like Spencer. I found Rough Night to be aggressively bland. Fist fight. I might have to. As much as I love roller coasters, I hate fist fight more.
Chips is, and I had forgot we were doing kind of like the biggest turkeys of this past year, and I had forgotten some of them. We did it really quickly, and I had forgotten some of the ones that I saw. I should have said Chips. Chips, absolutely. It is definitely, without a doubt, the worst movie of last year.
If I was going to go disturbing, I would go with the film I watched last night, Killing of a Sacred Deer. And I'll use my F-bomb. That movie's fucked up.
Yeah.
It is really, really disturbing, certainly in the second half, but really
Yeah.
throughout. Yikes.
Yeah.
One word review. Yikes.
My review of that movie, Sasha Proraver and I talked about this and have the same feeling about it, was that he used the same tone that he did with the Lobster of sort of like this broken, and it's this it's this very specific cadence which removes you from the character, and it would have been such a better movie if they had just really been relatable. The Lobster, it really worked because it was like a surreal other world, a parallel universe. But this one, if it had just been our world and that messed up,
It would have worked
It
as
would have been
a
devastating.
normal movie with normal human characters
Yeah.
in it. But I think that effect just makes it even creepier to me because you're just waiting for the thing to explode. You're waiting for people, which they finally do. Eventually, like their humanness does come out and they start like screaming and crying and stuff. But it builds tension throughout the whole thing of like, when are these weird robots gonna crack?
Except I would rather see when are these actual humans going to crack.
Sure.
The people that do have feelings and emotions and love their children and are able to express that in a healthy way.
I got a new watch. Would you like to see my new watch band? It's leather instead of metal. I prefer leather to metal because it's cheaper. Like, it's like, what?
If only the one character, I don't want to say which one, the character had been that thing, it would have been better. Because it would have explained his behavior. But I just feel like if they had been real people that were driven by survival to act so heinously, I would have been devastated by the end of that movie.
I think it's so surreal, though, and there's so many things that they just flat out don't tell you that if it had been played straight, then I think people would have been overwhelmed with but that doesn't make sense. Whereas the detached thing, it doesn't have to make sense. It's almost absurd.
It is because it's based on a Greek myth, so it does have this kind of myth from the ancient world quality of like Oedipus of some bad situation getting worse and there's no relief and you're just like, oof.
Yeah.
I agree that the tone worked better in The Lobster than it did for me in that movie. I liked it, but I mean, The Lobster I loved, and I thought it did work better in that one. But I do feel like if they played it straight, it would just be too much.
If you want to have a bad time,
but if you want to feel
it'll make your life feel better by comparison. Check it out.
Yeah.
I liked the movie. I just thought that would have left me pretty shattered if it had been a little bit more relatable at the end. Gonna grab a couple of more before we're done. Nick wants to know, will we ever see a Bob Ross honest trailer?
On what?
Well,
on the man himself?
On the
his
man
show?
on his show.
Painting.
Soothing noises. I don't know if there's a whole lot of material to be mined there.
It's already pretty honest.
Yeah,
he's pretty straightforward about what he is.
No
pretense there.
Exactly. There's no pretense between what you see and what you get with Bob Ross, so there's no need to drop the veil with an honest trailer.
Meg Embers, who's the best at making a cuppa? I'm guessing it's Spencer because he's kind of like the chefy one.
No. Well, I'm a coffee drinker. I make a damn good cup of coffee, but
Damn fine.
Well, I'm not Twin Peaksing it, right? I'm speaking as me. I don't drink tea. I drink coffee, so I don't know. I follow the instructions on the back of the tea thing, so probably not very well.
I actually do pretty well. I have one of those really fancy little metal scoopers that you do the loose with, and then you put it in the thing, and you look like everybody's RA from college. It's very fancy. So I have one of those. Actually, I make it pretty good. I make a pretty good cup of tea.
Ooh, I want that Danielle tea.
Yeah, definitely not me.
Yeah, no, not me either. I'm just pretty boring about it in total. All right, final question of the day. Spencer.
Yo.
Crahan asks thoughts on the Critics' Choice Awards. I'm just going to quickly shout them out. Best Picture, Shape of Water. Best Actor, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. Best Actress, Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards, blah, blah, blah. Best Supporting Actor, Sam Rockwell, 3 Billboards. Best Supporting Actress, Allison Janney, again for I, Tonya. Best Acting Ensemble, 3 Billboards. Best Young Actor, Brooklyn Prince, of course, for The Florida Project. Couldn't agree more.
Deserves that.
She's amazing. Best Director, Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water. Best Animated, Coco Av. Although, is Your Name in contention? I don't know. That's a whole other thing. Best Action Movie, Wonder Woman. Best Comedy, The Big Sick. And Best Actor in a Comedy, James Franco. Best Actress in a Comedy, Margot Robbie. Quick thoughts, Spencer.
Bet they wish they could take that James Franco one back. But aside from that, I don't know. They're all good choices. I'm not super upset at any of them. Shape of Water is definitely not my best picture of the year, although I did enjoy it. I don't know. I just heard these. Give me. Go around the table, and then I'll think of what I actually think.
Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody asked. I think somebody asked us, or someone on Twitter said, what do you think is a bigger barometer for the Oscars? Is it the Golden Globes or the Critics' Choice? The answer is neither. The Guild Awards are the biggest ones, so I think these are not surprising. I mean, I guess the one thing that does surprise me is the narrative I thought was kind of around Laurie Metcalf for supporting actress, and it may be that Lady Bird is too old for 3 months ago, and that I, Tonya is the shiny new toy, and Allison Janney, because with the critics and the Golden Globes, it kind of says where some general sentiment is, and it's not like a slam dunk like unstoppable like J.K. Simmons with Whiplash. Like that was just a thing where just like it was inevitable. And I think that I love Allison Janney. I'd love her to have an Oscar, but it does surprise me that the consensus outside of the guilds is not Laurie Metcalf, because I thought that's where it was going. Other than that, it's pretty. I mean, Timothée Chalamet I thought had the best actor buzz, and now it seems to be swinging back to Gary Oldman, which is interesting to me. It's the sometimes you get an actor who they give. It's the Denzel thing. Where Denzel won for Training Day. Denzel was great in Training Day. However, I think that Denzel won for Training Day because he was amazing in 5 other movies that weren't Training Day and didn't get the Oscar.
The Lifetime Achievement Award.
So I feel like that's what's happening with Gary Oldman. Is like he was good in Darkest Hour. He had the makeup. He did the voice. He did Churchill. He yelled, and it was great. But I feel like people are like, but I just love his work, and this is his turn to get the award. So not that it was a bad performance. I just feel like it was kind of the battle between, is it the young upstart or is it the establishment guy whose turn it is? And it seems like people are swinging a little bit more toward Gary Oldman.
Danielle, any standouts for you?
I'm just happy that I have like a huge, massive crush on Allison Janney, and I have since West Wing.
CJ Craig.
Yeah, I have no problem being completely biased, and that I'm always going to be pro Janney. In fact, I had someone did, I think Conan or one of those, and they were like, "You won't guess who's here," and I was like, "Oh, you get to be on TV and you get to meet Allison Janney? I hate you." So yeah, I'm always going to be super happy for Janney. Although I was also kind of surprised that Metcalf didn't get it, but hopefully. Yeah, I feel like everyone thought, what's happening here?
Billy's breaking news with JT. Featuring JT.
What's going on, dude? It's not huge breaking news, but Leonardo DiCaprio is now officially on Quentin Tarantino's new Manson film.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that'll be in our awards discussions next year. I will echo what you were saying with the Metcalf love, and you were saying with the Metcalf. I really thought she had it, and I actually think she deserves it as much as I love Allison Janney, and I do. God, I do. I really think
they both deserve
they
it.
both deserve it. But I don't know, that Metcalf performance to me had a level of nuance in it, and I think it's probably just a little more screen time too. But maybe that's what it takes. Like maybe it's too subtle. I'm not sure. But I
have
thought it
my
was
Critics'
brilliant.
Choice Awards take.
You do.
And it is, why were the 2 best movie critics, Dan Murrell and Roth Cornet, not at the Critics' Choice Awards?
Well, I have a bone to pick with that, as a matter of fact, Spencer. Because a lot of it, I probably shouldn't, but I will. I think I know a lot of the people that are members of the BFCA, Broadcast Film Critics Association, which is the people who decide on the Critics' Choice. They are lovely, wonderful human persons, and a lot of them do not review movies. A lot of them are from either on television, local broadcast stations, or otherwise cover films. They do interviews for films, they talk about films, but they actually don't review movies. And it sort of drives me a little bit bonkers. And then there are other people's, which is that one of the other conditions for it is that you have to be in broadcast, but there are a bunch of people that are in the association, like we're not on television, that are not in broadcast. They are online journalists.
It was like seeing all your friends on Facebook posting pictures from this great party that you didn't even know. I'm serious. Like it was all of our internet friends were there. Christian Harloff was there. Sasha was there. Chris Stuckman was there. Like all of our internet friends are like posting pictures with Gary Oldman, and it's just like we didn't even know there was a party.
We're major. I had major FOMO. I'm not gonna lie, and I have because not only is it about the party,
it was sad. I can't handle pouting. Dads got invited to this party.
We didn't even get invited to the party.
We didn't even know. We didn't
even know there was a party. And this is, I had major FOMO about it, and every year I do, not just because of the party, but they get these sweet screeners every year, and I, like a little begging girl, every year I have to hit up all my friends and go, hey, do you have this one? Do you have this one? Okay, I know.
I guess it's not true.
That's a pretty silly problem to have.
Everyone's a critic.
Yeah.
Except for Dan Murrell.
I know. We got Simpsoned because, like, for so long they're like the internet's not critic, and then we got No Homers clubbed by the Broadcast Film Critic Awards.
Totally denied. And here's the other final. You shouldn't have opened this can of worms, man. You did not even know. Here's the other thing that bothers me about it. So they're not even applying their own rules, meaning that not everyone in there is actually a critic, but they are on broadcast. But some people in there are not actually on broadcast, meaning on television, but yet they are in the Critics Association. No. I'm not done. And I I spent the allotted time that Rotten Tomatoes demands spending my nights and weekends writing reviews. I have written, I swear to shit, hundreds of fucking reviews. I have translated that into video. I have done video reviews. I've been yelled at for my opinions. I've done my time. Please let me in. I want to go to the party.
I was just angry to see all my friends having fun, and I couldn't go.
Denied.
Denied.
FOMO.
Anyway.
Why aren't we good enough?
Oh, don't do this to me.
I'm glad that I'm glad that so many of our friends did get to go have a good time.
Yeah, it was nice to see them having
Christian
fun.
Harloff got a great
I mean,
selfie
you want to
with
be
Gary
happy
Oldman.
for people. What?
I saw Ewan McGregor and Chris Stuckman hanging out. Like, I don't begrudge them that. They're awesome people and they
Wonder Woman
deserve
was there. They do. We just want to come and play with you guys too. We just want to be invited
Always
to
thought.
the party.
Always thought.
What, are we off the air? What did JT say about us?
He's wrap it up.
Play us off, JT. Just forget it. Just forget it.
Wrap it up. Thank you,
I don't
JT.
know why I try.
Why is the exclamation point so small?
Yeah.
If you're going to criticize us, we'll criticize you right back.
I'm dead.
Bye,
I'm dead.
guys. We'll see you Tuesday.
Come on, JT. Wrap it up. Wrap it up.